Hey, deserving listeners, Love is Blind. Let's watch.
I don't know. Just.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it okay?
No.
It's not okay. Yes, it hurts.
Like, why would you propose?
Why would I propose? I fucking fell in love with you in the pond.
All right, so I haven't been showing the scene because it just kind of looked like a repeat. But at this point, it feels like I should include it. That they were having a great time and they seemed like they were all in. They both said they were 100%. And then he said something along the lines of, wow, I mean, but my God, I mean, the situation is just like, it's intense, you know? It's like, whoa. Meaning that it is, well, no, what was he saying? It was kind of hinting, or at least it was received by her, that he was unsure about what was going to happen, you know, at least a little bit. But he's saying he's 100%. So, you know, the way I was, now, I don't know how into her he is. I think a lot of people would speculate that he's not that into her. But on paper anyway, he is 100%. He just said that. And they also talked a bit about how they've been this past week or two while they've been living together. She was saying that you can be a little distant sometimes, and he's like, yeah, you know, I'm sorry or whatever. So I don't know if this is kind of, but anyway. So he mentions that, and similar to when she woke him up at the getaway, the way it looks from the outside, this is not how I would characterize it, but people might characterize it as her trying to get into a conflict. She's looking for a fight. She's creating drama. And you know, honestly, the way it looks this time, it has kind of a look. Now, there's various different reasons why someone would do this. Sometimes it's because they are trying to draw someone out. They're trying to test someone. It kind of has that look to it. They're triggered and they're not really seeing things straight. The cameras are there. We've seen people seemingly do this where they're trying to perform to the cameras of like, if this doesn't work out, or if I reject this person, I want to come out looking like the good guy and I want him to come out looking like the bad guy. And then they shoot themselves in the foot. I can't remember a specific instance of that, but I know that's, at least I've speculated that's been happening with a lot, maybe not on this show. Anyway, I'm not saying anything about her, but what was happening was he was basically saying, I'm 100%, but wow, this is a big deal. And she's like, what do you mean it's a big deal? I don't, and just really looking for a way to fight about things, really. There's so many different things she could have said. And he's like, and he was responding, you know, and as best he could, but she just kept looking for some way to provoke a fight. And then he said something like, I guess, don't you feel isn't this a big deal? Isn't this like kind of crazy that we're doing this? And she's like, what do you mean crazy? You just said you're 100%, you know, that sort of looking. So now you think it's crazy that we're getting married? Literally, not that specifically, but that kind of thing. So now you're saying it's crazy to marry me? Oh, that makes me feel good. Like, I'm not joking. Now, I don't know what's happening. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she's triggered and that she has trauma around that. And there was some minor communication of who knows what'll happen in the future, meaning maybe he won't say yes at the altar. I mean, it's kind of a leap, but you know, it makes sense that she would interpret a little bit of what he's saying. But by contrast, he needs to say, I'm 100% and I'm 1,000,000,000% sure I'm going to say yes to the altar, and there's no possible way that anything is going to happen that's going to stop me. I mean, when I say that out loud, it's like, that is usually what you're hoping from your partner a week or two before the wedding. But, you know, this is a different scenario. Anyway. So now they're here. And he's handling it. He doesn't seem intoxicated. He doesn't seem tired. So he's sparring well. And she's starting to get upset again. And yeah, I don't know. It's upsetting because I wonder if the cameras weren't there, because it seems like they haven't really fought at all until the cameras are there. Sometimes that can happen.
I know, but it's bothering you that I'm excited about you. Like, that fucking hurts me. Like, you want me to be more
I'm fucking excited.
Like, upset.
Yeah, either she's completely distorted and misinterpreting, or I'm completely distorted and misinterpreting, but that's not what happened. She's twisting it either unconsciously or consciously. She's saying, you're upset that I'm like this. I could rewatch this whole scene. There's like a dozen, maybe more, of instances where she twists it to make it like, well, so if we look at it psychologically, there's a chance that she very much believes that she's going to be dumped and rejected. There are signs of that. There's the insecurities that she was exhibiting. The insecurities that she was exhibiting, though, are pretty normal. If anything, she was just healthy to communicate about it. Anyone would have that. So I'm guessing Joe had some of those insecurities, if not a lot of it. So it's just a matter of how do you deal with it. There's ways of dealing with it. Anyway, so I think like people seeing in the edit when she was on their first day together at the getaway that it's like, oh, she's so insecure. You could say that, and especially now that we see this, it's like, oh, that was the tip of the iceberg. But in and of itself, it was just someone that really wanted to be attractive to their partner and didn't really know, and maybe had some questions, maybe some bad experiences in the past. It's fine. Anyway, but now it's like, maybe there's something, but I don't know. There's something weird about this. It looks like a reality TV show where someone is manufacturing a fight because they think that's playing well to the cameras or something. And honestly, she's kind of good at it. So that kind of says something. Now, in all likelihood, all's well that ends well, because with this, usually at least the Joes or her or both will say no at the altar. So I'm guessing this isn't super consequential in the long run, but who knows?
About this or something.
No, I don't. I just want to be able to fucking say something about it, and without. Okay, but without.
But you're upset that I'm not as upset about you.
I'm not upset.
Right. So he's not upset. He was. If one thing that he said that was a request or a criticism or complaint was, I'm just saying this is an intense experience and there's a lot of uncertainty about the future, and don't you feel the same way? And I'm just looking for that. Is that weird that I'm feeling? Don't you feel that too? And he even kind of said something like, it's kind of weird if you don't feel that, because I think what he was saying was, then that means you're not really in this situation, because this is an intense experience, right? And then now she's twisting it to be like, now you're upset at me for not freaking out, or, now, maybe he's a bad communicator and it did come, and it's reasonable, but I don't know. That's just seeing this for a second time is worrisome.
I can say this.
I need somebody that's fucking doing this.
I'm doing it. I just want to tell you my feelings during it.
You have been. That's what we're doing.
And it's being taken in a way.
It's not being taken in a certain way. My feelings are being taken in a certain way too, Joe.
I'm sorry.
When I said yes to you,
I guess I'll fucking just
meant
keep
it.
everything I have inside.
Yeah. So what I will observe clinically and on the show is there's a progression of give-uppedness or resentment or contempt. And the first time this happened, Joe was more confused and exasperated, but ultimately trying to smooth things over. When they interviewed him after he sort of woke up one-on-one, he was just like, I don't know, I just didn't know what she wanted. And then the next day they make up, and apparently they've been doing well. The second time you see this happen without any kind of relief, people start making conclusions. And if you're in Joe's shoes, you start saying, here we are again. And when it happens the second time or the 100th time, if you're in Joe's shoes, you have the ability to say, okay, I'm going to really watch what I say, because last time I wasn't sure, maybe I did contribute to the fight. But this time I'm going to be very careful. And he's being careful, and he's sober, at least relatively to last time. And yet it's still happening. And that's upsetting. It doesn't feel like it's my fault. It doesn't feel like there's any way for me to win this. And there's nothing unreasonable for me to say how I'm feeling, that it's overwhelming. I'm 100% in, and it's just a crazy situation. Like, it's intense, And that's not okay to say. And now we're in a big fight because of that. How did that happen? And you see the look on his face of just like, he's making conclusions. So it's not a good sign. Without intervention is the point.
Really fucking helpful, Joe. Because when you fucking asked me to marry you, I fucking said yes, and I fucking meant it.
This experiment is not fucking normal. This is not fucking
You knew
normal.
you signed up for. This
me.
is for marriage-minded people.
Do you think I'm not marriage-minded?
Right now, no.
Okay.
Right now,
okay.
no. I don't.
Okay.
Honestly, no.
Yeah,
Right now,
okay.
I don't.
Yeah, yikes. Yikes. Yeah. There's so many other ways. If you're worried, just say that. If you're confused, just say that. If you want a hug, just say that. This yelling, it's yelling at him. You know, we saw Annie have her experience. The most hostility that she exhibited was, rolling eyes, which is a hostile thing, but, pales in comparison. She's yelling at him, determined. She's not even looking for a way out of that. She's not even trying. She's either massively triggered and came from an abusive household, or she is trying to manufacture, I don't know. But so if we take it as real, at least mostly real, I mean, the cameras are there, so there would be some performance involved always. And it's something I am very familiar with, because when my clients, my couples are in my office and they're fighting, they know I'm there most of the time anyway. And I know that they're fighting in a way that knows that I'm watching. It doesn't mean that they're always healthy about it, but I know that I can't depend on the way they're fighting right now to be an exact replica of the way they would fight without me there. You know what I mean? And that can mean a lot of different things. It can mean that in my office they tone it down a little bit or exaggerate it. It just depends. So there's a bit of performance always when these individuals are fighting or loving or whatever. So there's that. But there's a problem here.
Okay.
Like, why am I fucking wearing this? Where the fuck is my bag? I feel like such an idiot. I sit around with a ring on, excited about you. Well, I guess we'll just put that on ice for a minute, because I don't know how to feel right now.
Yeah, the way it looks is that she's triggered, because if she were trying to control him, which could be the case, I mean, not consciously trying to control, but trying to gain control, then it would kind of look different. But it's hostile for no reason. No reason. There's nothing happened. Nothing happened. I just want to say nothing. Could she have been like, ooh, that sounds like maybe he's not 100%. Maybe he's saying 100%, but he's really only 95%. That would be normal. I would hope that they all would be not 100%. How could you possibly be 100% about this? Even after you get married, how would you be 100%? A couple years in, I think you could be 100%. Anyway, so he didn't even say that. He just said, anyway, so, well, okay. So could there be some kind of schema involved, some sort of personality spectrum involved? Yeah, absolutely. You know the ones that I'm thinking of. I don't need to talk about it, but wow. So if this is a genuine thing and she's genuinely invested in this relationship, then she is really shooting herself in the foot. Now, I imagine a lot of people would say Joe was never into her. Even in the pods, he's not that invested. Maybe he's for real and he was really wanting to get engaged and see if things worked out. But on the scale of like, this is it, maybe he wasn't super high on the list. I don't know. It's unfair to say that about him because he hasn't said anything along those lines. I think his demeanor makes him look, like a frat guy who doesn't really care or has options available to him or is youthful or something. And I think we assume that he isn't as desperate or isn't as invested or isn't as sure or isn't as ready for the next phase in life. But we don't know that. We can't assume anything about anyone. People can be prejudiced against privileged groups of people. So, we just, yeah. So I'm just yammering.
Like, I feel like such a fucking idiot right now.
This makes me not want to tell my emotions to you ever again. I'll just keep all the shit inside.
Because
I'll just keep all my fucking emotions inside because I can't tell you because you'll feel like an idiot.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't like this. Seriously, Joe, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ways he could be communicating worse. There's a lot of ways he could be communicating better. I was kind of hoping that he would remember what happened last time and just hug her. And that was a strength of Annie and Nick, is that the two of them would, in the midst of a much more toned down version of this conversation, that they would return to cuddling and it would help.
Stop, okay? This is such shit right now.
And then they show him smiling, which, I don't know, in the midst of more of what I've seen, because there were a lot of different categories as to why he would be doing that. And this looks like nervous, oh my God, this is scary or this is hurtful, and what is happening right now? Like astonishment, hurt, confusion, smile, instead of like smirking about, this is a funny situation, I'm on a reality TV show. There's a lot of other categories, but given this context, what we're seeing, because we saw this smiling, like at the pool party when he was super hammered, and she turns to him and is like, what do you think about how it is when we first meet each other, and we're trying to match up our voices and we're not really sure if we're attracted to this person, what do you think? And he's like, huh, what? And trying to avoid it, I think. And then she's like, didn't you hear my question or something? And then he did that look away smile. At the time, since I didn't really have anything that I've seen, because I've seen stuff since then, it looked like, oh no, shenanigans. He thinks this is all a joke from the beginning, but now it kind of looks like, I still can't know. He still could think it's all a joke. He still might not be invested, but in terms of what's being said, it looks like he is just more, he's trying, he does legitimately love her. He does legitimately want to be with her, at least up until this fight. And at this moment, he just doesn't know what to do. And so he smiles out of awkward nervousness. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.